Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the new campaign ship, the Tier 8 American Heavy Cruiser Tulsa. So, with that being said, let's take a look at our commander. Don't forget, we are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So, if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy what I do, make sure you guys punch that subscribe button. Follow us for daily content, and World of Warships Legends is among playing other games on the side as well. If you enjoy, join us. We're less than 4,000 subscribers away. We're getting so close, guys. I believe in us. You guys can make this a reality, but I can't do it without your help. All right? So, Baltimore. We are running the Azulane Baltimore Commander with Francesco Membelli and Nikolai Kuznetsov. We are also running Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, and Fixated with Refill Station rather than fully packed. You could run fully packed. There's nothing wrong with it. You could go either. I just wanted a little bit faster reload for the memes. And if you do not have Azulane Baltimore, it is perfectly fine to use Norman Scott. You get all of the same perks. The only difference between the two is the base trait and the fact that you get the AP solution if you want to use that, but I don't use it. I use Punch Through. But we're still running Nikolai Kuznetsov and Francesco Membelli in the same perks over here. So Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and either fully packed or Refill Station depending on your preference. All right. So if we go in and look, we have... for the first perk, we're using Main Battery Mod 2. The reason we're doing this is because we are using the Epic mod in the final slot that gives us a minus 15% or plus 15% to turret traverse. But we are also running the Propulsion Mod 2. We're running Steering Gears Mod 3. And we are running the Epic Main Battery Mod 3. Notice that it gives you a minus 15% traverse speed to your main battery. So we get a 20% buff, and then we get a 15% nerf. So we end up with a net of minus 5% to our turret traverse, which is basically indistinguishable. Okay? But we want to have this reload on the end. Okay? And with all of that, let's take a look at the loadout. We are running the Italian Unity flag because if you hold your tongue just right, it kind of looks like a Spartan helmet. The camo that comes with the ship, you have sonar, radar, and you have the repair party. For survivability, you have 42,700 hit points with a 13% chance, torpedo damage reduction. Good lord, I'm all over the place. 203mm 55 caliber RF Mark 16 main guns. You get 6 of them in a 3x2, so you have 3 double turrets. That's why this thing has such a fast reload compared to other American heavy cruisers. It also has auto-loading main guns. 180-degree turn time is 29.4 seconds. Okay, so slightly better than the 30-second base time. Okay. HE shell maximum damage 3,000 with a 17% chance to set fires. AP shell maximum damage of 5,724. The secondaries, you have 127mm Mark 32 dual-purpose secondaries. You get 12 of those, reaching out to 5 kilometers, reloading in just 6 seconds, and firing HE with a maximum damage of 1,800 and an 8% chance to set fires. For AA defense, you have 20mm Oerlikon Mark 10s. You get 23 of those, doing 99 damage per second, but only reaching out to 2 kilometers. Then you have the 40mm Bofors Mark II that you get 48 of, doing 191 damage per second, but only reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. And then you have the 127mm Mark 32 dual-purpose secondaries. You get 12 of those, doing 91 damage per second, reaching out to 5 kilometers. For maneuverability, you get 33 knots max speed with a 750-meter turning circle and a 5.7-second rudder shift with this build. Concealment is average 11.9 kilometers by sea. Remember, we do not take the concealment mod on this because we tend to need the extra steering because I tend to be in open water gunboating more often than not. Detectability by air is 7.5. Guaranteed is always 2. And then 7.1 kilometer smoke firing penalty. Our stats in the ship are pretty solid so far. They're not great. We have got ourselves yeeted twice, once by a Brindisi and once by a Repub on stream for you guys. You guys saw the first 3 matches, I think, that we played in this, because I only played 1 after the stream. But 4 matches in, we have a 75% win rate because we do what we have to win, right? That's the main thing. Armor. For the armor, you have 27 millimeters of bow plating, which means this is just a Balti, essentially, okay? So 27 millimeters means you do not get overmatched by anything 15 inches and lower, but anything 16 inches and above does overmatch your bow and can citadel you through the bow, so be careful. It's got the same citadel as Balti and all of those, and Des Moines and all of them, so yes, you can get citadeled through the bow, so be careful, especially from high-velocity guns from, like, Repub or any of the Russians. If they go through your bow, they can absolutely citadel you. American battleships tend to have the shells detonate before they get to this citadel, but it's not impossible, especially if they're coming down at sort of an angle. So if they're not too super close, they could actually get the penetration through the upper deck and down into your citadel that way through the bow. So keep that in mind if you're in this thing. Okay. Overview. Reloader, above average main battery reload speed. Sticky shot, reduced ricochet chances. So that's the heavy AP. I made a comment during the stream yesterday while I was fighting in Awami that I was wondering if this had the New Orleans AP rather than the Des Moines or the Balti AP. And I think that it still has the Balti and Des Moines heavy AP. Because I've played it since, and I feel like the shells are definitely pinning. It was just probably an awkward angle. I was kind of freaking out because the guy that I was fighting was about to yeet me, rightfully so. There's no angling against something that overmatches you in this ship, not really. So, yeah, I was kind of freaking out, wasn't aiming properly, so that's on me. Tulsa, a heavy cruiser similar to Oregon City class, but armed with 6 8-inch 203 automatic main battery guns. She was designed in 1951. As far as looks goes, I like the camo on this ship. It's nice and calm and collected. I really do like it. Other than that, I mean, it looks like pretty much every other American heavy cruiser in the game. You're only missing one gun on each turret to make it a freaking Des Moines, for God's sakes. So, with that being said, let's get straight to the gameplay. Alrighty, so I almost goofed up and forgot to hit the record button at the beginning of this match, but we are on Two Brothers, and we are going to take the right flank where we spawned and try to get out and do as much as we can over here. Mino decides that he needs to come out and go full broadside immediately and get yeeted into oblivion, and that's kind of going to set the tone for this match. There's one destroyer in the entire lobby, and that just leaves us out here to just absolutely annihilate this flank. We get to use our friendly ships as spotters, and we get to sit out here and just do whatever we want, which is absolutely amazing. This is exactly what you want out of any sort of, like, cruiser. Like, we're going to try to get some HE spam initially, but then we're going to showcase how good the AP is as well on this ship. So the goal for any American heavy cruiser is to use the AP whenever possible. So you want to set fires with the HE and then switch over to the AP, right? That's the goal. So here, unfortunately, we're not getting lucky with the fires, but Kurt first comes out, goes full broadside. He is turning away from us, but we're going to aim high here. We're going to go for superstructure pins, and you'll see that we're just going to chunk this, man. This guy is giving up all the hit points to everybody right off the bat. But he is trying to turn and run away. Until then, though, we're just going to continue farming him for damage. And this, unfortunately, is kind of like how boring it can be to be in these American cruisers, or any cruiser for that matter, in these matches. If you're up against stuff that overmatches you, you don't have a choice but to keep your distance and try to play the DPM game with them, whether it's taking advantage of your armor piercing when you can, taking advantage of your HE. The thing has ridiculous HE. So, like, all of it is open to these ships. And then, of course, you have the ability to use these things more aggressively to combat destroyers and stuff like that. Fortunately, this one is a capture the base, so we don't have to go too crazy here. You can see there are two ships trying to go up the middle, and we will keep that in mind. We just want to make sure that we're trying to get as much shells on target as possible for this gross curve first. We already got one fire burning, finally. And we're going to try to get another fire. And we're also going to switch AP again. We've got our first proc of our faster reload on our main guns, which is just making us that much faster at reloading. Like, right now you can see we're down to a 4.4 second reload already. And that's only one proc. And it's a kind of a snowball effect when you start getting these epic procs for cruisers especially, because they just start stacking up the DPM so much. It's actually crazy. Now here you can see, we know he just damage con, so we're going to try to get a fire again before he gets to disengage. But he is out of here. He's like, nope, my 110,000 hit points or 105,000 hit points, I've given it all up, I'm out. So he's going to try to run away. So of course we just switch focus to the main. Main is sitting here reversing. You'll see I do try to look at the Kerr first, but unfortunately he's right on the edge of our range. The one downside of this thing is it doesn't have the most range in the world. We do run Kuznetsov. I think that's the one. Yeah, Kuznetsov. But still, the range isn't the greatest on these. But they are very floaty shells, so I don't know how much more range you would want on these shells. And you see, like, at these ranges, the shells are coming straight down. Now, I don't know if you can Citadel a high-tier battleship, but I know at Tier 7, you can absolutely Citadel ships like the Jean Bart, the Iowa, stuff like that, with plunging fire armor piercing. Like, that is a thing that you can absolutely do with Baltimore. I've done it. I've actually done it on this map from this location with a Jean Bart sitting at that island. So maybe something to test out. I haven't actually tested the plunging fire penetration yet on the Tulsa, but if it's the same as the Balti and stuff, I would imagine you could still do pretty well. Now here we have an island between us and the Yama, so we're just switching our target straight over to the Yama. We get the fire early on and we switch over to shooting AP. And the goal here is to hit high up into that superstructure, get those plunging shells down into the deck, and just keep chipping away at this man. We've got the fire burning, and I mean, this is, unfortunately, this is the kind of the boring aspect of playing cruisers in this game. You can't just yeet yourself against battleships very often. Sometimes you can. You guys have seen me take on 15-inch battleships with my American cruisers and make them look stupid, but unfortunately, you can't do that all the time. Especially if they overmatch you, you're just going to get torn apart. So now that the initial threat of Yama's gone, Buffalo's still there. We've got plenty of teammates back there to deal with a single Buffalo. So I'm going to move up on this flank and start to really push pressure on these battleships. Now, initially, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to go too close to the main because the main still has those great American guns. So we want to try to get around the edge and just try to, you know, get him to make the mistake. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too close and have him be able to just death strike us. So goal here is to start some fires as we get behind the island where he's not going to be able to take multiple shots or get good shots on us. He's got to rush the shot to get a shot at us, and then we're able to pretty much take no damage or minimal damage here as we turn away. You can see the one shell hits us 5,000 damage. We did get a fire right away. He damage cons that, and then of course we break contact coming around the island, and he just forgets us. He literally will just forget that we exist. We are the only person that was capable of being spotted on this side of the map, and he just forgets that we exist. Right? So now we are going to come around the island. We have him spotted again. HE's already loaded because we know he damage con, so we're going to try to get that fire, get that perma fire burning, preferably a double perma. But he's also over-angled here. So not only are we going to go for the fires here, but we are also going to end up loading AP as soon as we can to farm the damage. And there we get the single perma fire. We immediately switch over to AP. He gets a decent chunk on us. It's not the worst, but decent chunk overall, and we're going to now start shooting AP at his broadside. And again, like at this point, this guy is in trouble. You can't give a cruiser like this. We actually showcased, was it the, I forget what ship it was. It wasn't the Lepanto, because he would have Citadel'd me if it was Lepanto. We came around the corner, I think it was the Kansas. I think I came around the corner in my Kansas and left a Tulsa, took all of his health, left him with just enough to sit there and DPM me for like 3 minutes. It seemed like it, but like 30 seconds plus for my reload. And by the time that you get your guns on target again, like it's just, they can take a lot of damage off of you. But we get the fire kill on the main. We end up with 126,000 damage. Again, not much we could have done more on our side of the map. There was only so much damage to be had over here, but we made the most of it. We showcased the ship pretty well. That is the more passive way to play the ship, utilizing island cover where you can, not putting yourself in a position to get yeeted by the battleships that overmatch you, and then also utilizing the utility of the radar and the sonar when you have like the domination style matches specifically, or if you have multiple destroyers on the enemy team that allow you to get close, get rid of those destroyers, give your team the best chance at winning. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I'm going to go ahead and just speed up to the end of this match because there's nothing else that's going to happen. The friendlies are in the cap, they're capturing the base, and now we're just going to go out here. There's no destroyer that's going to get spotted, I don't think. I think it just ends up being a base cap, but we had a pretty solid match, and I actually am enjoying the Tulsa. Again, if you guys are a fan of American heavy cruisers, you're going to love this ship. It's fantastic. It has all the things that you love, plus ridiculously nasty armor piercing and HE with a good fire rate. But 4th on the team, not too shabby. Again, wouldn't expect too much in the terms of XP in this match, just due to the fact all we did was farm battleships. But let me know what you guys think, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.